Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Tim here, and we're back in the podcast studio. And I love these episodes because I get to hang out with some of my old students, you know. And today we got the class of 2008 in the house from Bel Air High School. 2008, man. David Jones.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, I'm so pumped.
I'm pumped too. I'm excited. You were I was trying to think of some memories, and I just remember gym class, and you were just always, the biggest thing I think I would remember is just how patient you were. I don't know if it was patience or if it was just like fatalism. You were just like, it's just my life right now. I got to deal with this. But you were just always patient. I remember I would always lose my gym clothes. I wouldn't be able to, and you just be like, it's just, whatever, man. Yeah, I'm used to it, but I'm excited for this, man. It was just, you were always funny too. You always had a smile, so I was like, I think this is gonna be a good time. Great energy.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
For some reason, I don't know why, and I know this isn't true, but I was just like, I had this thought. I was just like, if any of my teachers had a black wife, it would be Mr. Markland. I don't know what just the energy, just the it's not complacency, but you just seem so at peace, and I was just like, it comes with just getting.
I've had a few black girlfriends in the past.
I can see it, man.
Yeah,
I see it.
I mean, I've been now not in the last 25 years. Yeah. I'm married, but
it was a business choice. I can see business. You might not have graduated apparently, so you gotta.
If you haven't figured it out yet, today is the first comedian ever to come on our podcast.
I am like the Jackie Robinson.
Let's go. Let's go, 42.
Glad to represent.
Yeah, man. Thank you for being funny, and thank you for being black. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I got to do what I got to do, man. I just check those boxes each day, and this keeps me going. It's my prerogative.
Dude, I was watching some of your content, and it does seem like you throw in some humor about being African American, black, and it was hilarious, and that's when I also saw that I thought you had a lot more content online, and then only to see a couple videos on your TikTok or your not even TikTok, was it TikTok? No, Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
And I was like, man, I thought he had a lot more, but you did.
Yeah. And it was all horrible. Like, editing. I tried to do the editing myself, and slowly realized that just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And other people made me realize that, and then. Between people reaching out to me, as we talk, the foreign photographers and foreign editors that would constantly call me, I was like, I got to get rid of this stuff and go in a different direction.
Yeah.
So can't have that represent me, but like the bad videos. But yeah, I'll definitely get some more stuff up soon, and I'm glad you brought it up again because I got to make it the top priority.
Well, dude, I mean, you're funny. I mean, you're really funny. I enjoyed having you even when you were a little 14-year-old kid in my 9th grade phys ed class. Always very personable. But as I've been following you for a couple years now, for the longest time when I started doing this podcast, I was thinking about like who do I want to get on the podcast, and you were one of them because. I think there's a lot of similarities with what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to grow a business. Mm-hmm. You're trying to grow into comedy and stuff like that. And of course, I want to pick your brain a little bit about that too. But we're kind of like on a same kind of like an entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
And that's why I really want to bring you on, and we talked about it in the past.
Yeah, we have.
And then it kind of like fell off and then I reached back out to you, and so it's an honor to have you here.
It's an honor to be here. I thank you again, man.
Absolutely.
Those classes, the PE classes especially, is kind of when I started figuring out how to be funny, and I always enjoyed it. Like I said, you had the patience, but even kind of like you made sure I stayed in the boundaries of everything, but you did give me a lot of like creativity and freedom, just kind of expressing. You gave us that, and I appreciated that. And then in the aspect of being an entrepreneur, it's very inspirational seeing how consistent you are. That's another thing that makes me think about how much I need to put more out and be higher quality out, more quantity and quality. But seeing you on a consistent basis all the time, constantly posting stuff, constantly doing your podcast, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's hard. It's as you very well know, it's very hard. But much of this is podcasting is not a full-time job. This is something that's just pushing out the marketing and the branding. Same with you. Is comedy is not a full-time job yet. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see where that goes.
We'll see.
You're in insurance sales.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Insurance broker. I've been doing that for this field since the beginning of this year. Voluntary. Just became an agency coordinator for Combined the Chubb, but and we have the business Phoenix benefits So we just kind of contract out with different places, but just trying to stay as busy as possible.
Yeah.
And they all kind of connect, like you said. Comedy kind of like provides networking and exposure, and then behind the scenes, I'm just trying to build a business up, kind of like very similar to what you're doing. So
yeah, I was just wondering, where are you what's the vision for you? Like, where are you taking all this?
the vision, whenever anyone asks me that, I just see me building a family or a team, either connected between the two things, but even if it's like individual with the insurance or the comedy family, just I want to establish maybe a comedy club from a comedy. I never really see like fame and everything. If it happens, it happens. But my biggest thing is just using that to invest in a comedy club and being around people like myself, like yourself too, who are doing multiple things and can come in after their entrepreneurial aspect of their job and then come and just laugh or come and joke or come and spend some time away from the family, the kids, or bring your family and kids. So my biggest goal is just kind of investing in that community of people like ourselves who are doing multiple things.
Yeah.
And I always think about things on the grand aspect. So it's not, I never really think about money or anything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like behind everything that I do is like I'm really wanting to make a difference. I want to create a legacy of leaving something positive behind when I'm done. You know, real estate has been super beneficial with finances and being a teacher, and you know, being a teacher is not the highest paying job in the world, you know, but
unfortunately.
But I could make a difference in real estate, but make a little bit more money too. But all this stuff is like free, you know. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy having these conversations with different businesses, different people, different organizations, nonprofits, all that good stuff. You know, I really feel like there's something bigger for my vision with this. I just don't know what that is yet.
It's hard to figure it out. It's a lot of pressure too, because it's kind of like trying to paint without a canvas, just in air. You don't know what you're doing yet, but like I said, you're very consistent, so you just keep going about it, and then after some time, you just see the image or you see the silhouette of what you're doing.
Yeah,
and it kind of becomes clear, but it takes time. It takes patience, a lot of patience, to not let anyone like deter you from the path you're on, or stop you from making the turn to deter from it. So, which is similar what you did in your career, which was what I did in my career. So that's just kind of how I see. Like I used to have a picture of what I wanted to do, and I'm sure, as you know, it's terrifying to turn away from that, transition to something new. And then, like you said, have no idea where you're going with it.
Right.
But on a daily basis, I'm sure you have fun doing what you're doing. You said you enjoy talking to different people, so that's the aspect that kind of keeps you occupied while you're waiting to see what it's all going to become. And it's hard.
It's hard. And, you know, I remember a quote or an interview from Kevin Hart was talking about, you know, people would say, look at this overnight success. And he's like, this was 17 years in the making. Yeah. You didn't see all the blood, sweat, and tears, the numerous, you know, bombs on stage and the writing and the rewriting of jokes. You didn't see all that. You just saw Kevin Hart for who you see him as now. You didn't see him 17 years of the process. 17 years.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And to not have an idea. I'm sure when he started, and probably even up to 15, 16 years, not having an idea what that picture looks like either, because there's so many avenues you can go, so many people you can meet. But like he said, just you keep going. That consistency is it's very important.
And you get better.
Yeah, better.
My first 100, 200 podcast episodes are going to probably suck. You know?
Yeah.
But if you don't do those reps, eventually this is going to be something that's going to be maybe really, really big, or maybe not.
Or not, but you can learn from it.
But you're going to learn, you know, and I think this is building other attributes of myself, you know, in doing this, as I'm sure comedy is with you.
Yeah. The 17 years, so in reference to when we were discussing like the amount of material I have up online and stuff, so the videos I do have in relation to what Kevin was talking about, those were the ones I picked out of 50, 70 different clips from different open mics, different wording, different tempo. And even the ones I posted, I was just like, you know, just put it out there. I'm not satisfied with this, but I have to put something out.
Yeah.
And it kind of puts it in perspective how many times I've done one single joke to different people, different ways, different mindset, and then it all leads to me posting stuff. And the clips I have up, that those jokes aren't finished, but in 17 years from now, I may have that same the first clip I ever posted, I may have that joke republished again or like resurface again, completely different.
Yeah.
In 17 years, like there's one of the oldest things in comedy, like they say, it's just like the joke never stops writing itself.
Yeah.
It changes. So
well, Jerry Seinfeld said something as far as rewriting a joke and just it may take I don't know how many times, but it's a process, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the writing and being able to identify what's funny to an audience in the moment. What does your process look like? Like when you're do you focus on certain kinds of material, whether it's race, whether it's political, where do you find your motivation, or where do you find your what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Where do you find
my muse or
your muse? Yeah, like what does that content process look like?
I think it comes from just what I needed as a child, just the attention. I know that race. I don't think I've ever sat down and started writing and thought let me focus on race.
Okay.
But what I do notice is when you're a kid, you say whatever gets the attention. So you'll say something extreme, and then people, like the parents, will turn around and look at you, and you have the attention. So in that aspect, so sometimes I go out and I'm just talking to the crowd, and race is something that always it piques their interest, and it's something that's universal. So if I have a crowd that's all black or all white, all Asian, whatever, like if I'm just talking, race doesn't really grab them as much as it would if it was a mixed crowd of people because they can all connect, and then they all look at each other and they experience this thing. So a lot of the times it just comes from me talking, and that's what grabs their attention. Stuff like that, love, working, jobs, kids, and stuff like that. But race always just grabs people, and then my perspective is very different. So it's not that I've experienced different things within race. So when I talk about it, and I talk about it from a certain language, and I articulate it a certain way, people go and they know what I'm saying, but they're hearing it in a completely different language, or they're hearing a song with a completely different rhythm or tempo or different voice, and they're always captured by that. So that's usually why that's my go-to. Process wise though, like I would say, it's just I've tried to sit down and write and think about certain things. It's just so much better when I go up and just start talking.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if I'm doing an open mic throughout the week, Monday, and if I have a completely new material, Monday I'm saying it. Usually people are like either shocked looking at me. There's no laughter. Tuesday is completely
Does that happen?
different. Yeah, it happens a lot. And it could be a good joke too. I've done jokes that have like done amazing over the weekend, and I come back Tuesday and I'll just bring it up, crickets, or people are horrified by it. So that's another thing that goes into it too. But it's just talking to people, honestly. I'm sure, you're really good at that too, just kind of going by feel when you're talking to people, like the energy and everything.
Sure.
So that dictates it a lot. So I can have a joke in sports, one joke, and it could be ran different ways depending on who the crowd is. And it's usually more beneficial for me to have an open mind, not have anything written down, but being able to take an idea and reword it depending on how the crowd reacts or talks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's just this constant process of kind of observing how your crowd is reacting as to where you go with what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it takes a while. I wasn't able to really do that. I would say probably after maybe a year and some change, because so busy, like nervous, looking down. Then you get comfortable talking to them, so you start to be able to read what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're reacting as the material just comes.
I think
naturally.
there's a bigger level of talent to be able to kind of go on the fly and identify and talk to a crowd and come up with something funny than it would be to kind of come in with kind of your whole script planned out for you.
Exactly. When I first started, that's all I did. I just went out there and did crowd work. And I remember one of my friends, his mom came up to me. I was at work. I was doing a side job bartending, and she was like, "You're so funny." And then she said, "You're so great at crowd work. It's amazing." And it made me think. I was like, I don't want to be so one-dimensional. I need to be able to write my stuff, even if it's uncomfortable. I need to be able to just stay in a set, listen to the silence, and keep going with it. And I did that for months, and it was excruciating.
Yeah.
Just sticking by something that was uncomfortable, and then after time, like I said, it got better, and then I was able to just do that naturally without even thinking of subconsciously, and then consciously be able to look at the crowd, see what they're doing, and then
Yeah.
So it takes talent, I would say, but the reps are the most important. The consistency, the reps, the self-awareness. It's crazy.
And just the thought of bombing, a joke is part of the process.
It is, yeah.
It might not feel really good in the moment.
I got used to that in school, I would say. I've always listened to stand-up comedy, and the way I grew up, I was always around older people, like adults, business people. So the only time I would be able to be around my peers is in school, which is why I enjoyed it. So I would say these jokes that worked for older people, and I would say it to you peers, and they'd be like, "What are you talking about? We have no idea what the economy of taxes and all this stuff is.
Yeah.
We don't know what Chris Rock is talking about." So
Right.
I got used to going in there and people going like, "You're not funny." When other like adults would say, "You're so funny for a kid," so
Yeah.
I got used to that, and then it led to me being able to transition from saying one joke to an older group of people or a certain demographic of people, and then change it around to do that. So I got used to that very early in school.
This episode is sponsored by the Markland Advantage with Cummings & Company Realtors. When you're ready to make a move, give us a call. We'd love to help you out in the buying and selling process. If you'd like more information, simply message us or email tim@themarklandadvantage.com. Now back to the show. Was there a defining moment where you were like, I'm pretty funny. People were telling me I'm funny. I want to do something. Like when did that happen? Or was it just something that morphed into I want to be a comedian at some point?
I used to work at just a lot of bars, and a lot of them would have open mics, and people would just tell me, like, "You need to start doing comedy. You need to do comedy. You're funny." But I didn't want to. It's different when you're telling jokes to someone at you're watching a game, you're telling jokes, and it's like basically a free show. But when people pay and they're coming to laugh, it's a completely different. So I didn't want to ruin that image. I didn't want someone who called me funny before to come to a show and be like, "You're not that funny in a professional sense."
Sheesh.
And that made me nervous, but I gave it a try one day. And then after I went to see Louis C.K. concert, and then a bunch of people there were like, we were just talking, a bunch of friends were like, "You need to do this, you need to do this." And I went and tried it, and then did horrible my first open mic.
Did you really?
Yeah. I had a joke. So my girlfriend at the time and I had broke up, and that's kind of inspired me to do it. And I had a joke. I was just like, yeah, she broke up with me, but I gave her AIDS, so I know she'll be back. And all I heard, it was just silence. And then I heard some guy just like, "What the hell did he just say?"
Oh my god!
And then it was just silence again, and people were just on their phones. And then, in my mind, the joke I had wrote was 5 minutes long, and it was probably 25 seconds to get out. And then I had nothing for like the next. So then that's when I started talking to the crowd, and I was getting a couple laughs, and then I got hooked. I was like, I gotta redeem myself, and I kept going back, going to different places. So
I mean, there's got to be a level of overcoming the fear of objection and rejection as a comedian. Like you've been able to just take that, use it as feedback, try to make yourself better, and then get a little bit better at the next performance.
Yeah, and during the time I started too, that's when I started with Medicare and Medicaid, and there was a lot of cold calls, so like hand in hand by day, I'm getting rejected on a daily basis, and at night I'm going up, no one's laughing. So it was rough. It was very taxing, but it's exciting.
Did it play on your mental health at all?
Not at all. It made me stronger, I would say.
Yeah,
if anything, it made me a lot stronger. It's getting rejected doing something you love. It feels way better than being complacent, being certain results doing something you've done every day that you may still love. It's good, you're comfortable with it, but you may not be as passionate about it. And as I'm sure you would know, just with the transition, but. And even sometimes not knowing what's going to come from the day, or how they're going to react, it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
And you get used to it.
Yeah.
But that nervousness, it never goes away.
Yeah. I couldn't. Yeah. Whether you're going up to a listing appointment or just getting in, starting this, it's like there's that nervous energy, you get the nervous peas before, but then once the camera goes on, or once you get there to the appointment, it's like there's this the anxiety allows you to perform at a higher level.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, it's because you still really care. When you get to the point where you wake up late for work and you're like, I don't get it. What's the worst is going to happen? It doesn't bother me anymore. That's when I'm not going to say you don't care anymore or like you lose that passion, but it's just completely different. And sometimes you need to take some time away from that or try something new. But so far in these years, I've never been a day where I was like, I don't want to do this, or I'm scared. I'm scared to take this chance.
Yeah.
Anymore, or scared of the unknown. The unknown just makes me so excited.
Are you ever scared that it's not going to work out?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Dude, me too. Like that in sales, as you well know, too. There's peaks and valleys, and it's not like you're not always up, all the way across the year.
Yeah.
So it plays on my mind when I hit those valleys. Like, where's the next business coming from? And so far, knock on wood, it has come. It's worked out every time.
Yeah.
But there's still that worry.
Do you ever have times where you kind of you want to avoid the good news because you have a feeling you don't want to become complacent. You don't want an opportunity to become complacent. Like I know if I don't make a sale throughout the month, which hasn't happened yet, knock on wood, but I know that the following weeks after that, I'm going to work harder than I ever have, and I know it's going to produce for me. So if I have a bad night, I know it's going to mean I'm going to have a great night coming up because I'm going to go over all this stuff.
That's a good way to look at it.
And when I have a good night, when I have a really great night, comedy or sales, I'm like, I need to celebrate this a little bit, but put it in a box, put it away, and then just go right back to it, or else you start slowing down.
You do become, sometimes you become complacent. Yeah.
And you watch people do that too.
I think there's a lot of fundamentals to success that not everybody sees. The behind the scenes stuff, the writing of jokes, the rewriting of jokes, for me is prospecting and social media content and all that stuff. Where what I find is, if you're in a slow time, you can almost look back 2 or 3 months earlier to see what you were doing, and if you weren't doing those fundamental things because you're out busy, helping clients and doing real estate transactions, you forget that prospecting part. It's like all of a sudden it's like and then you dig deep back down into getting yourself out there, making phone calls, and then all of a sudden opportunities come based on the conversations that you're having with people. But you can, when times get slow, I can look 2 or 3 months back and see how busy I was and the things that I weren't doing or wasn't doing to be busy at that point in time.
Exactly. And when you put it like this, sometimes when I remind myself of that, or when I see other people failing to do that, or to look back and see what got them the results in the first place, I'm like, it really is that easy. When you look at how Kobe Bryant would talk about how hard he worked, or Michael Jordan, and then you look at other players, like it's the recipe, or what the equation is to get to this point, but you just don't want to do it, and it comes down to this. So sometimes I'm just like, if I'm not going to do the extra work, it means I don't want it.
Right.
Quite that simple. It's not because it's a bad day. I just don't want it enough.
Right.
And then that's what kind of made me transition from the one job and another. I know comedy with these sales, especially when it comes to helping people through the sales, it's something I'm going to value. I'm never not going to not value that. So I'll do the extra work.
Yeah.
And that just came from not putting money as the main priority for myself. The idea of helping people, making people laugh is just, I can do that every day, all day. So.
Yeah. I often said I want to be doing something where I would still do it even if I wasn't getting paid, and that's where I am right now,
Exactly.
I mean, it certainly helps to be paid, and money is important for a family and all that, but when it comes down to it, if I didn't get a paycheck, and it's okay, I still love what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you're bringing so much joy to people in a very, very unique way.
Some of them.
Well, what's an example of, like, say, a joke that just completely bombed?
Oh, it happens a lot. Not a lot, but I have a lot of religion jokes. I have one where I'm kind of talking to the lady in the crowd, and they kind of wrote this joke, but we're we were just talking about the in politics, like these stuff with abortion, and I thought women had the right to choose abortion, and then just talking about just well, you know what, Jesus doesn't, and I'm just like, does Jesus have like a personal problem with this? Like, has Jesus tried to come back and been aborted a bunch of different times? And then she's like, the usual reaction, people are like, and then I'm just like, well, it would help if God spoke sometimes, but I'm guessing the reason he hasn't talked is he's too busy babysitting those aborted babies.
Oh.
Lost the, like, everyone just stopped, and then laughter, and then it's just one of those things. I can do it, and the entire crowd will laugh, and then I can do it the next night, and then people are walking out.
Jeez.
So it's kind of, I don't want to. I kind of made it a little nicer than how I would usually.
I'm sure. Thank you for doing that. Beep beep.
Yeah. But it's a bunch of jokes like that. Some of the race jokes. Jokes about myself sometimes. People don't like when you're self-aware enough to pinpoint something in yourself that they see in themselves as well. So I talk about reasons with when I couldn't stop drinking before or something, and I address that in a funny way, and there's people like, they feel attacked, and then that usually gets people to
there's such a balance that you're constantly juggling of being offensive, but then some of the offensive is funny, you know,
honest.
Or honest, and sometimes, let's say, the truth hurts. I mean, watch like somebody like Matt Rife, who is joking with somebody that's in a wheelchair that is, you know, obviously has a huge disability, but he's able to I don't want to say get away with that. I mean, you can tell that his intentions are good, and that's part of his comedy. But then I'm sure somebody that has never listened or seen Matt Rife before could easily get offended by people. People get easily offended by things,
easily offended.
And not only on like religion or like, you know, alcohol or you know being an alcoholic or whatever, but like political. It's like there's so many people that are either so far this way or so far that way, and if you make any reference to this side and you're on this side, you get canceled.
You get canceled. You get
How do you work with that balance of being funny without?
I don't care. 100%.
Yeah.
My arguably my favorite comedian of all time, Patrice O'Neal, used to say that the perfect form of comedy is when half the room is laughing and the other half are shocked or displeased. There has to be that balance, because it does come from a place of of honesty, of your personal perception. And then there are people who identify if like the opposite of what I am as a comedian is the victim. So whereas I get my attention from trying to bring this perspective to people, some people, their identity is strictly, I am offended, and I am the one who's offended. Give me the same amount of attention you gave this person for that joke he told or he or she told.
Yeah.
And sometimes people's identity, when you look on social media, like you said, when they're so far to one side of politics, that's their identity, as they're a victim of something. And there's nothing, they're not trying to help other people. They're just trying to, and I say this from a place of like, I sympathize for them, because I understand that you may not find a place you're comfortable with in society. So you can only connect to people by complaining, by negativity.
Yeah.
And then I have to realize that when I'm talking to people too, some people, they just came out to get drunk and make a scene so everybody can turn and look at them.
Yeah.
And it's just part of the business, honestly. And then after so many reps, like I said, you just don't care. It's just, like, you guys paid me already. Or it was a free show.
It's a free show.
It's a free show.
This is an open mic.
Like, my job wasn't to change your life around. It's to have you laugh and forget about the stuff going on in your life.
Yeah.
Everything else, that's on you. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
So after you get that mentality, with pretty much anything, because I'm sure you can try to help people as much as you can in sales, insurance, anything, and people are gonna blame you. Sometimes they just call. They don't want to sell. They just want to complain about the last person they dealt with.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need an ear. So.
And you found a way to just completely blow that off.
Completely blow it off. Yeah. It doesn't.
Have you ever been heckled?
A lot. Yeah.
A lot.
I remember some guy. Like I told you, when I used to do crowd work, I was doing great crowd work. It was a bunch of older people, and just joking with them. They like kind of like a family thing, but I kept it PG-ish. And then some guy in the back, another comic, he was just like, do some material and stuff, and I'm just like really. So that's the biggest stuff when people, a lot of comics don't like crowd work.
Well, because they're afraid of how it could backfire on them.
Yeah, backfire on them, and they just can't do it.
Yeah.
I've had that. I've had people like when I've done like the jokes like abortion, political, like the typical people who just want the attention. Drunk people usually a lot will step up and say something. But that was more towards the beginning. Now I've kind of got a reputation of people know if you say something, I don't care about your feelings. I'm going to you're going to be the entertainment for everyone because I'm going to destroy you completely.
Right.
So it doesn't.
I mean, in a way, you're trained.
Yeah.
You're a trained assassin when it comes to a heckler.
Yeah, and some people are just masochists too. Like they're like, please make fun of me. Like this is
okay.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't.
Is that the people that sit in the front row? They're like, I want to start something here.
I wouldn't say the front. They're not they're not like courageous enough. They'll sit maybe like the middle. There's a couple seats in the middle. You're sitting there. And they'll have like a couple friends, and you can tell by the energy of the friends because their friends are like, we don't want to deal with this. We came to have a good time.
Yeah.
He or she had a bad day today, so
yeah.
And I can usually call that out or like
That's
try
hilarious.
to break up the friends or something. So it just doesn't. But I haven't been heckled in a while, I would say, or not like intentionally. Some people might pop up and say something.
Yeah.
Like say something stupid, but it's not like people don't do it like. They don't do it negatively anymore as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to hurt or shame, like they're trying to ruin your night or anything.
No, not
like
at
that.
all.
Yeah.
It's been like a year since I've been heckled. Now I think about it.
Oh wow.
How
How long have you been doing this? Like actually getting up on stage. You've always been funny.
I would say it's probably coming up on 3 years because I started August in August. And so yeah, but close to 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. And the first year, actually, I wouldn't even say that. First year, I went on stage in August and didn't get back on until maybe like the March after that or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
The timing, figuring out the community. So as I started, the Maryland comedy scene really got more. They started networking more, so I could reach out to people. I had a group of people we did comedy with from Hartford County and then, and mixture of Baltimore, and then I started branching out more. There was only one place you could go to, and then as we started kind of making it more and more popular, now there's a place you can go to each night.
Yeah.
And I was just scared too. I was terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest thing.
Okay.
I just did all that to hide the fact I was a coward. That was it was and then I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
About it, yeah. And it's a weird mentality you have to have. It's kind of like I'm doing this to make myself better. Like, if you guys laughing is just a part of what I'm doing. I mean, it's my goal, but some nights I'm really just trying to work on my material, and I'm going to be horrible or I'm going to bomb.
Okay.
And you just gotta
Kind of like a trial and error type experiment.
Mm-hmm.
You're experimenting with some new jokes or whatever.
Yeah, at the cost of people's time.
At the
money.
cost of people's time and money.
Some people get a babysitter once a year, and they come in, and I'm trying out knock jokes for the first time.
Right. We paid how much? Can I get a refund?
Yeah, the husband just gets up and like goes to the bar and just gets drunk next door. It's just, I feel bad sometimes in that. A little bit. I feel a little bit bad, but
Right.
Yeah.
Not too bad though.
Not really at all. Not really at all.
Yeah. What you mentioned Patrice
O'Neal
was one of your favorites. Who are some other comedians that you kind of like to emulate?
CK.
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. I would say arguably probably my favorite.
Okay. Who would be your top five?
I would say Richard Pryor.
Oh, okay.
Patrice O'Neal, Louis C.K. Oh, wow. Oh, there's a lot. I might say it's like Ron White.
Oh, God, yeah. He's funny.
So funny. Yeah.
He is funny.
I know I'm missing people, too. I don't know if Gary Goldman. He's kind of like a very... I wouldn't say like a librarian type. He's very like articulate, very kind of nerdy, but he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
his joke writing abilities, and then of course like Kevin Hart and different things. But
well, I figured you being short and black that you would identify with Kevin Hart.
I met him too.
Did you really?
I met him before I started. I met him probably close to like 10 years ago at Chick-fil-A, in Abingdon.
What?
It was when he first started I think his first big tour. It was probably more than.
Did you
10
work
years
at
ago.
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I remember that.
Yeah, so it was like very early. It was like 7 a.m, and we see this tour bus pop up. No one's thinking about it. And it was like a bunch of older ladies working in the morning shift, and it was just like, there's some rapper or something out there. And I just remember, like, this racist mother. And then I look out, and it's Kevin Hart. And then I'm sitting there staring. I'm like, what are we doing? And my friend Steven is like, I want to talk to him. And he walks out. And I walk out, too. And I was just like, I didn't know that was you, Kevin. And he was like, I seen you staring at me for the past 10 minutes. And then I go, well, I didn't know anyone was the same height as me or shorter. And he's shorter than me. And he laughed, and we took a picture.
Wow.
And then I think I saw his Seriously Funny maybe a couple of days after that, like the same tour he was on.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm going to do it. And then a couple of years went by, and I still didn't do it. But it was, he's definitely short. He's shorter than me.
That's crazy. How tall are you?
I would say maybe like 6'10" on a good. No, maybe like 5'5", 5'6".
Okay.
So he's definitely like 5'3", 5'2". He's really short. He's a lot shorter.
It's funny to see him next to The Rock, you know?
It's hilarious.
Right? Oh, my gosh.
That's a really good dynamic they have, too.
They do.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Yeah. How they imitate each other.
I forget, it was like a Trick or Treat commercial. It might be one of my favorite things they've ever done, but like they're just he's like dressed up as The Rock. It's amazing. But both of them, like both The Rock and him, are just another good examples of that, like the consistency, that hard work.
Even more than the comedy, I love the work ethic that those guys put in. I mean,
it's insane.
The fact that they're. I mean, I'm in the gym by like 6 to 7. You know, those guys are in the gym at like 4 a.m.
Unnecessary. It's just no reason to do that.
But I guess as busy as you are, if you're Kevin Hart or The Rock, it's if you're gonna get that time in, you're gonna have to get it in super early when nobody else is up.
I see the importance of it too, because when you work that hard, you need to be mentally and physically at your best. I noticed that too. As soon as I hit 30, it's like if I eat something, it can ruin my work schedule for eating the wrong thing, drinking too much sugar or something. So I try to get in the gym as early as possible.
I was gonna say, do you work out a lot? Do you?
I would say I wouldn't say a lot, but I do it more for like my mental health.
Same here.
So I'll be like, I don't feel like going to the gym, but I need to do at least 15, 20 minutes cardio, some type of stretch or something. And it usually always turns to me being there for like an hour. But
yep.
Where
do you go?
Go to this Fours and Middle River is right by my office.
Okay.
Or I go to Planet Fitness Abingdon.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever Planet Fitness is around.
I hit Planet Fitness in Forest Hill.
That one's so much better than the one I usually go to.
Yeah?
Okay. I've been there a couple times.
Perry Hall in Aberdeen, the Forest Hill location closed down about a year or two ago, and we had to go to different ones. And Abingdon was just very congested.
It's very congested, yeah.
I think most people went there, so I was like, I'll take the extra 5-10 minutes to get to Aberdeen or down to Perry Hall, and those gyms are big.
I've been to Aberdeen. I went to Aberdeen for a couple months because I kept falling off the rowing machine at the Aberdeen and the Planet Fitness early. And I always, this is very, there's a bunch of, always at the time, there's a bunch of really good looking women in there.
Okay.
And it's bad enough that I'm like short. I remember I went to the Aberdeen one, this tall lady tried to hold the door open for me, and I'm like halfway through the street. And I'm like, this is so emasculating. And I just turned around. And I drove to Aberdeen. Like, I'm not going through that.
Right.
So it's just, but the Aberdeen one is, I haven't been to Perry Hall.
Okay. It's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I of course, I'm not lifting as heavy as I would if I was younger. I'm turning 50 this year. But for my mental health, it's just, I try to get in the gym every day, just because. And if I don't, the rest of my day is affected.
It feels so much.
It feels so different. It feels like I'm just discombobulated. Things aren't organized. Things aren't lined up. But when I can kind of frame my mind in the morning, and I'm listening to positive stuff, and in my headphones I'm listening to music, I'm listening to different motivational speeches and stuff like that.
Especially in the morning, it really gets me going.
Gets you going.
Yeah, that's like the mental health is the biggest. At my height, it's nothing. Like, it doesn't matter how in shape I get. It's not really going to impact my life.
Dude, I saw those pectorals coming through the door when you came here in here.
And they do nothing when someone can just put their hand on my head and just stop me from swinging. The pectorals do nothing. there's no motion where it says that's like those muscles will help with that. So it's from it's just mental health at all, and I don't even focus on anything else.
Do you find in your humor and your comedy, a lot of times a comic will actually have a darker side, you know, whether it's depression, anxiety. Yeah. Did you ever have that growing up? Is that something that feeds your humor?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that fuels it. Very rough childhood. And it was kind of an aspect of it too. Like I said, I couldn't really connect with the peers. When I first moved to the Harford County area.
Mm-hmm. How old?
I would say I was like 12 when or maybe I was probably like 14 when we first moved out here. But we had a boundary exception.
Wow.
And then some days I would go. I would get dropped off at my grandparents' or a babysitter out in Bel Air from my mom. My mom would drop me off, and we'd be in Edgewood. We live in the city, but they always wanted to make sure I went to school out here. But that there was a contrast of like how I lived, like the stuff I heard. Like I said, I was around a bunch of older people, so I couldn't connect as well with my peers. So it was just
by the time you're in high school at that point, right?
But even still, it's like where a lot of people had kind of childhood friends in this area. I was kind of new.
You didn't have anybody.
Finding a language, trying to articulate stuff, trying to not seem as poor as we were. And we lived in a nice neighborhood, but we brought our poverty to it in a way. So it wasn't so. It was just kind of just figuring out how I was going to grab their attention by saying some outrageous stuff, by trying to be funny, the depression that comes with that, like the loneliness, and then with comedy, and humor is just, it always connects people, no matter what the situation is. It always connects people, and then I noticed that, and I noticed there was a lot of people that used the negativity, like we talked to try to get attention, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want people to look at me like I'm a victim or
a complainer
and everything. So I would just kind of just humor, and a lot of the times it was at the expense of what I was trying to accomplish, like school or certain things. Like certain things I should have been prioritized, but I just kind of wanted to connect, and then as technology increased and being able to, I can listen to comedy from my phone, and I was like, I want to do that, and then I want to be able to I want people to talk about me, like when I looked on YouTube or someone like under Kevin Hart's comments, like, hey, I was having a rough day and I heard this joke and I understand where you're coming from, but it's hilarious. Thank you so much. And I was like, I want that.
You want that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have it when I was younger. It's more lack of technology, but you have to go to Target and get your parents to sign up or grandparents to sign out for a Richard Pryor album. What the hell are you listening to this for? Like, don't worry about it. But it's just,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine coming into a community like Bel Air. Mm-hmm. I mean, Bel Air is kind of like a middle, upper class type, environment. Yeah. Good communities, good schools, all that stuff. To move into that, thinking back to when I was a teacher, but when you think about the race composition of Bel Air High School type thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was probably 90-some% white, and then minority sprinkled in. And I always wondered, like,
count on my hand the amount of.
I mean, there's very few black people, very few Asian people, and I think diversity is so important.
It's very important,
to have those different cultural perspectives. Mm-hmm. But I always wondered, like, a black kid coming from the city, moving into a predominantly white middle class community school, how much of that would be a culture shock, or how do you deal with that? But then on the flip side, what if I'm a white kid who's going to go down into the city to a predominantly black school, and how uncomfortable would I feel in that kind of situation, or would I?
I don't think you would. I don't know. It's just because I didn't necessarily feel comfortable. Like, I say I felt loneliness, but the people around me were great. Like one of the first friends, Zach Hayes, one of the first friends I had. Like my family, they knew he was always great. Like just certain people like Chris Baker, Vernon, like just a bunch of people I knew from a certain point, but like they helped out. Even when I was in the city though, I was very different because I was this is the reason why my parents and my grandparents wanted me to go to the school. I was different from the culture I was in the city.
Okay.
And then at that point where it wasn't like social. One good thing about social media, it has created like it exploits different paths for people. So during that time, the whole idea you have to be like a thug, you have to do this certain things in order to be considered a black person was kind of the message that was like subliminally just delivered to like youthful black kids, where I was like, I know that seems cool, but I want to just keep reading, doing my thing. I want to go to speech classes. I want to do certain things. So I wasn't necessarily accepted in that area when in the city as much, and I still felt stood out. So then to come to Bel Air, where like I see these other like black kids like me, but they have these nice houses and stuff, but they're still trying to emulate that vibe in the city, where they're trying to act like they went through poverty and stuff, and they didn't, because the media, like the way the culture is, it says like that's how a young black person should be. And then I had the kind of think that like most white people were racist and stuff, and then come to Bel Air, and it's like not like they like Allen Iverson, they love like music, they love this stuff, and then that was the biggest culture shock. Just like, no, this is I'm learning so much from the few different people in here. I'm getting a different perspective on everything, and it helped comedy wise too. My language, it kind of opened up the world to me. I would say it was. I think there's probably moving out here, and the transition was very beneficial to who I am right now.
That's awesome. But I think part of that is the mindset that you have as far as not being a victim. You see that if you want something, you're gonna have to create it. Yeah, it's on you. And maybe not everybody has that. Yeah. You lost your mom last year. Yeah. How influential was she in the man that you are today?
She was very easily the biggest part of who I am today. It was the time I spent before I moved with my grandparents. It was watching someone completely go through life different from everyone else I knew. My mom didn't work. My mom was a songwriter, and she made a lot of money. She got a lot of royalties. She wrote some songs. There's artist Kim Waters, and there's a couple other artists that like got published. It was like on albums and stuff.
Oh wow.
So when she got that money, she was 16, so a young woman, didn't, like I said, knowledge wasn't easily as accessible as it is now, so didn't know what to do with the money, so we had enough to get us to the place in Bel Air, but nothing to really go on after that. And I just kind of watched her figure out life from a different angle of how we were fed each night. She didn't work, she didn't drive, but she found a different, she prioritized our happiness, where it's just like, we have each other. We have a team. You can do anything. If you have the right team around you, you have the right people around you, you can get through it, and you can build each other up. So it was really big for me. The idea of what perfection is, like I always say, I said this at her funeral, but my favorite Christmas, the most perfect Christmas was when I was with her. We had no presents, we didn't have lights, but we just were singing Christmas music, and it was just beautiful. And then going to my grandparents or having the money to get those presents, I'm still chasing that high I got from that first Christmas. And I realized and one thing she didn't do, she didn't let society dictate how she became happy or what made her happy. And I realized that I lost a lot with my mom, because I saw, especially moving to Bel Air, how these other people had these huge houses and their parents were coming to after school things and PTA meetings. And I'm thinking there's something wrong with my mom, as opposed to going by her example and going like, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. If I know what makes me happy, keep that same formula and just stick with it. And then she was great. And the biggest thing too is no matter how dark it was for her, she always looked out for other people. She always had time to, if she had $5, that meant whoever needed it had $5. And then that's how she built that. That's probably the biggest thing I learned from her. But it was great.
Wow. Yeah. You can tell the legacy, her legacy through children, her kids, like just how special you are as a human being.
I appreciate that.
I mean, it's not hidden. It's right out there. It's out there in everything that you say and you do, and probably made you a better comedian too. You got to take some of those hard things that are happening in life and laugh about them, because if you don't, you go freaking bonkers.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, and I think it's hard for a lot of people to understand, or it takes them a while to get to that point.
Yeah,
you realize that. But
how can you make the worst thing that has ever happened to you the best thing that has ever happened to you? And that's a tough thing to swallow in the moment. But I think as you look back, you can take a lot of the things that at one time were a bad thing, and they've actually made you better, stronger,
better. Yeah. Appreciate other things more.
So, keep things in perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry for going down that serious hole there.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I like.
You include her into your acts, into your comedy routine.
I have another one that shocks people when I say it about my mom. I have a joke about her passing, and explaining like my mom, she was in hospice when she passed.
Okay, was it cancer?
It was very serious COPD in lung. So I think it was like forming into lung cancer, but it was irreversible.
Wow.
But I asked the crowd, I was like, "You guys know what hospice is?" And they were just like, "No, what?" Like, some of them like, "Yeah, we know what hospice is." I'm like, "Well, hospice is essentially like that area in your refrigerator where you let Thanksgiving food sit because you don't want to throw it away, and you're just waiting for somebody else to throw it away." And but like. That's one of my favorite jokes too, because I've had people come up to me like my mom passed away or my brother passed away, and watching them go through that period of like death and stuff like that. But that type of humor, they all love that. You go to any hospice or you go to any like those type of jokes, they love that stuff. Okay. And it was an epiphany for me too, because I was like there's people who are horrified, and they look like that and outside, but they'll come up to you afterwards and be like that. Like I was shocked during the moment, but I didn't realize how much that meant to me. But
it's the best comedy when you can really the underlying truths and difference that you can make.
Yeah,
like you're talking about, seeing a comment on a Kevin Hart YouTube video and that's what you're after.
Yeah.
It's like there's something bigger behind what I'm doing here.
It's way bigger. It brings through politics. I've gone up to like in the middle of the woods, PA, and there's just nothing. And I have no problem with like politics and anything, but it's just nothing but people who seem like they wouldn't be fans of like black comedy and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of like MAGA stuff, and it's just not uncomfortable, but because I'm used to it.
Yeah.
And then I tell jokes about race, and then they come up to me and be like, the way that lady told you it wasn't right, or they see race from a different perspective, and then we're all combined, and they're like, "Can I buy you a drink, man? Tell me more about this. Why? Like, tell me more about this." And it's just like, we're this boundary where some people may not have talked to you because you had a certain hat on or something, and then it's all gone. Yeah. It's all gone, and we're all under this thing for it.
That's just got to be like that's got to be the message to people. It's like it doesn't matter what politician's hat you're wearing, man. It's just like
not at all.
God, just because you might have voted for one person doesn't mean that you are an extreme bad person, and vice versa. Come on.
I love the Trump fans as much as I love the Biden fans, and Kamala, whoever. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, all people are idiots to be doing. So it's just like,
right? Yeah. Depending on what's going on in the world, whether it's politics or whether it's other things. Do you find that you write material around current events?
I try to. I have a bunch of jokes that are written down that because the time frame of when the incident happened, I may not be able to bring back out, but I can. But I have usually, especially my whole group, it's kind of like as soon as an incident happens, it's a race against time. The who perfects the joke the most. It's really the quintessential joke. And Chris Rock, I forgot to add him to my top 5 because he was big for me, but he was amazing with that. As soon as something happens, that's for the next couple weeks. That's all you're doing because you want to sharpen that to a point before anyone else does. Yeah. So I try to as much as possible, but sometimes it just kind of phases in and out.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think too, if you can relate to those things, and you're filming this stuff for your videos, for reels and stuff like that, that'll connect, because there are other people talking about that online, which increases the algorithm of, just spreading, having a wider base to spread, your message and your comedy and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and it definitely stuff like that. Certain niche, there's certain people that are only on social media just to talk about those events, and it's always good to try to. So I probably should be more prioritize that more and just kind of getting that stuff out immediately. But I just kind of things at my own pace.
Would you say that's your biggest challenge right now?
Yeah, I'm very unorganized and creating, especially with sales and other other aspects of my life. It's kind of hard to like a concrete schedule of when I want to do things. So I want to get to a point where I have a night. I'm like, this is where I'm going to do my editing, or I'm going to hire somebody else to do the editing and focus on this. But I just haven't gotten to that point yet. But it's just me making excuses, honestly. Because if I valued it, I would have done that immediately. So
you value it, but it's structuring it all. You got to. There's a book by a guy named Dan Martell called "Buy Back Your Time." Buy Back Your Time. And that basically says that anything that you could pay somebody X amount to do, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And also just the organization of blocking time for your day to say that, okay, between 6 and 8 at night, because you're working during the day or whatever, but between this time, nothing else goes into this block except for editing content, writing jokes, whatever, But that's what I found, like, especially those foundational things that I was talking about, like prospecting, lead generation, stuff like that. Like, I got to get those things done in the morning.
Yeah.
And try to schedule as many appointments as I can in the afternoons and evenings. Does it always work? No. But, if you can consistently do that over time, it's just the little things that will, tidal wave into something bigger.
It's kind of like the gym. Like, you get like a system where you go, at least for 10, 15 minutes each day, you're going to start just going automatically. And then it progresses from
creating
there.
habits.
Yeah. But it's easier said than done for me. It's just my organization is just horrible.
Yeah.
And that's like the next thing I need to work. I think across every area of my life is going to help me out more, but
okay,
it's never been my strong suit.
Yeah. All right. Well, I cannot wait to see where you take all this.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I am a fan. I want to see you succeed. If there's anything that I can do, I mean, I would love to come out to one of your shows. I mean,
I'll let you know.
How often are you performing?
As often as I can. I have a show this Friday in Havity Grace, but a lot of them are away, like the different spots, and I'm trying to branch out to that more. But there's certain times or so. Right now, it's the busiest point in my job. Starting to fall, I'm going to be doing shows a lot more consistently. Okay. So it's just kind of that aspect, just based off my job. And I feel like at some point I'm going to have to make a choice to where I want to put more energy in between comedy and my job.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
So, but I try to hold off on doing and scheduling as much shows until I know I have a solid idea how my work schedule. Because you know how it is. I could 1 week a bunch of clients I've been trying to, or a bunch of prospects, or like they're ready to work, and then I have to cancel some stuff, and I'd rather not do that.
Right.
Yeah. But the way everything you're doing, the content you post, you're very inspirational. It's very motivational, and like I said, I'm just a big fan of that because I know how good of a teacher you were, and then how much of an impact you had on us, and then to transition from that to what you're doing now and find success and build a consistency. It's amazing.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I really appreciate that. If people want to connect with you, what are some of your social media handles?
I don't even know. I think it's just Dave Jones.
Well, you can't search Dave Jones.
It's impossible. Dave Jones 2005 is usually the biggest thing I have. It's the main thing for me, but that's Instagram, Twitter. I don't know, like Black Rose 21009. I know it's corny.
Black Rose.
I used to do poetry slams. Poetry slams, and I used to be people were like, no, that's not the vibe you think it is. It's corny. But that, and that's.
Are you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to remember what my name is for that. I'm pretty sure it's Dave Jones 2005. It is Dave Jones 2005.
Okay. I thought so, but again, I searched Dave Jones in there, and a whole bunch of other Dave Jones came up, and they weren't you.
Do that, yeah. I've applied under multiple other identities, different places.
On the 2005th try, you found one.
Yeah, it kills me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, look, people need to follow you, and again, you need to start putting out more darn content. I tell you, man, come on. You will, and document the journey of it all too. I think it's so important to see the behind the scenes. Drew's always telling me I need to do a vlog, and I'm like, nobody wants to watch me, and but he's like, nah, there are people interested. So
I do that all the time. I do the same thing with my clips. I'm like, nobody wants to see my stuff.
But they do.
Just put the so but just kind of getting that, change that mental aspect of myself. But
it's so funny though. Sometimes the stupidest thing gets all the views. And then there's one like you really worked hard. Like, I think this is an awesome episode, and if this flopped, I'm gonna swear.
That's another killer.
I'm gonna have to bring in a funnier comedian.
Oh yeah. You definitely should have did that to start. I don't even know why you. I thought you contacted me to refer you to somebody to come up with.
Do you have an insurance question?
Yeah.
No, man. I want to. Let's do some comedy. Yeah. But yeah, people need to follow you. People need to follow us. I don't know what the heck people, if they're not following us yet, we're at the Markland Advantage on Facebook and Instagram and on YouTube as well.
Yeah, follow Coach Markland, like the legend himself.
The legend, right? Yeah. This is gonna blow up, I think.
It should. Yeah.
It should.
If not,
if it bombs.
If it bombs, it bombs. I don't think it will.
Yeah.
I can just edit in something controversial to you, or we can to just get the.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And
you can make me the scapegoat too. If everyone hates me and considers you the hero,
that's right.
I'll be that martyr.
Somebody will be offended by something we said.
100%, especially if I'm involved. And it's a Dave Jones. It's just.
Hopefully they don't cancel culture me.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Good. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you
Dave,
for having me.
Thank you for coming in,
brother. Thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you very much.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. Until next time, folks, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care. So did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead. Click it.